Hello, everyone, and welcome to Body Bags. I'm your host for today. I am Sinema77, horror and cult film lover. And today we got a special occasion, folks. We got a brand new Quentin Tarantino movie out in theaters. We have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And, even though it's not the entire story of the film, a good portion of the story is dedicated to Sharon Tate and her rise to fame and eventually her being murdered by the Manson family. And, since I haven't seen that movie yet, so I can't tell you whether that one's any good or not, or how close it is, or anything like that. And unfortunately, I don't have Jim Van Bebber's movie, the Manson family, to review for you right now. I thought we could go ahead and we could review the 1976 TV movie Helter Skelter. Now, I admit, when I first saw this movie, I was about 10 years old. And I knew nothing about Charles Manson. I had never heard of him. I knew nothing about it. My mother was a true crime fanatic, and this movie was coming on. I believe it was TBS one night, and she wanted to watch it because, like I said, she was a true crime fanatic, and she knew these true crime stories and everything else. And I had to get ready to go to bed. True story. I had to get ready to go to bed because to go to school the next morning. But as I was going to bed, the movie started and the musical score kicked in, and I only watched the first 2 minutes of this movie, and it scared the hell out of me. Just the first couple of minutes of this movie is as unsettling as anything I've ever seen in a movie. Like I said, the musical score is really, really creepy. God, who does the music in here? Does it say? Unfortunately, no, it doesn't say, but the musical score in this movie is absolutely chilling. It makes your blood run cold. It truly does. And the movie really is. It's a true crime. It's more of a courtroom drama. Really is it detailing Vincent Bugliosi and his, investigation and how he eventually was able to figure out a motive why Charles Manson ordered the murders of Sharon Tate and Leno LaBianca, Rosemary LaBianca, Stephen Parent, Wojciech Frykowski, Abigail Folger, Jay Sebring, Gary Hinman, so many more. And eventually he did come to realize that Manson was obsessed with the Beatles, and hearing all these songs by the Beatles, he thought that the Beatles were communicating to him and telling them that they wanted him to start Helter Skelter, which would be a war between the black people and the white people, where the black people would kill all the white people, but Manson and his family would be safe, and they would emerge as the rulers of the earth. Which, of course, as crazy as it sounds, you got to figure this was back in the late '60s, where it was the hippie era, and they were taking a lot of drugs, so it was kind of easy to see how Manson was able, with the assistance of drugs and manipulation and things like that, it was easy to see how Manson was able to get his followers to believe in all this stuff. But they did. Now that's the thing, if you're kind of going into this hoping you're going to see a lot of kind of like what really happened at Spawn Movie Ranch and what really in Death Valley and what really happened with Manson and his followers and things, you're going to be kind of disappointed by this, because this movie follows much more the investigation and the trial and prosecuting Manson and everything else. Where they did remake the movie, I think it was in the early to mid 2000s, where Jeremy Davies played he played Charles Manson, and the late great Bruno Kirby played Vincent Bugliosi. But that movie focused more about the story was more about Linda Kasabian's story about how she had come to Spawn Ranch and she met Manson and his followers, and kind of how everything kind of went from there. And they went on the creepy crawls where they would break into people's houses and like rearrange the furnitures and steal stuff and everything else, ultimately leading up to Manson deciding that they were gonna start committing these murders to get Helter Skelter started. But honestly, though, yeah, if you're a true crime buff, I can't recommend this movie enough. Steve Railsback right there. I mean, his performance of Manson is nothing short of absolutely brilliant. It's one of the best performances I've ever seen in a movie ever. It's like there have been other actors who play Charles Manson, and I'm sure they've come close, but to my knowledge, nobody has ever done it as good or as close as Railsback. It almost feels like Manson is playing himself. That's how close it is, in my opinion. But George DiCenzo does a fantastic job as Vincent Bugliosi. Um, and that's the thing. Unfortunately, George DiCenzo, he didn't do a lot of, he did like a lot of like supporting roles and like little character acting roles and things like that. But this was like the first movie he was really like the star of the movie. And unfortunately, in my opinion, it was unfortunate he never got more lead acting roles. I think he should have gotten more, but he's fantastic in this. And horror movie fans rejoice, because you got Marilyn Burns, the late wonderful Marilyn Burns. You got her in here, Sally Hardesty herself. She plays Linda Kasabian, and she is phenomenal. Her performance is just absolutely amazing. Just the emotion and the depths she goes to, it's just like, oh my god. I think honestly, if you watch this movie, it will. Frankly, I think it's going to kind of piss you off. I mean, you're already thinking, like, after you watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre and you watch Eaten Alive, you think to yourself, how is it Marilyn Burns never broke out bigger as a star? She should have been. I mean, her acting ability is right up there with like Meryl Streep. I mean, she could have easily been that kind of an actress. Why did she not get those kind of breaks? She should have. But as Linda Kasabian, she does a great job. She's, everybody in this movie is effectively chilling. The actress, I don't recall the actress's name, but the one who plays Susan Atkins, wow. I mean, she just plays it to the nines, let me tell you. And yeah, I can't recommend this movie enough. If you're a true crime fanatic, if you have any interest in the Manson family, like I said, this doesn't really detail the Manson family life. This is kind of more about the investigation and how they captured Manson and his followers and how they prosecuted them and stuff. But there are other movies, there are other movies that will tell you, about Manson and everything from his point of view and so on. I have to admit, though, because it's a 1976 movie, there's not a lot of gore. You see a little bit of it there. But yeah, but like I said, and I think this movie, I think people should kind of start looking into this movie. One thing, now that I think about it, it's July 2019. Actually, next month would be the 50th anniversary of the Tate LaBianca murders. I'm not saying that with ghoulish pride. I'm just stating a fact. Like next month, August 9th, 2019, would mark exactly 50 years ago that the Sharon Tate murders happened. And so, I would definitely say if you're interested in learning any of the history about it, I'm sure that there are people out there who will say this movie's not entirely accurate, but then again, too, it's like usually when you make a true crime movie or a true crime miniseries, liberties are going to be taken. We all know that. So, I mean, don't go into this expecting every single detail in this movie to be 100% truthful. I mean, there's going to be stuff in this movie that's, it's going to be fictionalized. It's not going to, be, 100%, so just kind of bear that in mind. But, yeah, the performances are great. But it does give you a definite enough of an idea of Manson and who he was. So, I mean, if you're curious about it, and especially if you know nothing about Manson and his family or his followers, and then you do go see Quentin Tarantino's movie, and you are curious, this is definitely a good movie to put on your watch list. So, yeah, and actually, Quentin Tarantino's movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that makes at least 3 movies we got coming out this year. We already had The Haunting of Sharon Tate, which I've heard by a lot of people. I haven't seen it myself, so I can't tell you, but I've heard from a lot of people that movie is atrocious. It's just disgusting. Then there was Mary Herron's movie, Charlie Says, which I haven't seen that one yet either. But anyway, so yeah, I just thought I'd go ahead and talk about this, for, like I said, for the 2 main reasons. 1, Quentin Tarantino's movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood comes out today. And 2, this year, like I said, next month would mark the 50th anniversary of the Tate LaBianca murders. And like I said, if anybody is interested in wanting to learn about Manson, this is definitely a good movie to watch. The book is, equally chilling. And there were many details in the book that I didn't even know that. I'm glad I did read the book, but the miniseries will definitely do you. So anyway, so yeah, I can't recommend this enough. Steve Railsback gives the performance of his career. Pretty much, I mean, he's done other great roles, but I think he's always going to be remembered for his portrayal of Charles Manson. But I can't recommend this enough. I definitely say go ahead and watch Helter Skelter if you haven't already. But anyway, that's going to pretty much do it. So if anybody tuned in and watched this, I thank you for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like. If you haven't already subscribed to the Body Bags channel, please go ahead and do so. There's a different reviewer every day of the week. Guys, we got 7 guys doing great videos, great stuff. I'm the Saturday reviewer. And yeah, so please check us out. We got great videos and all that other kind of good stuff. So until next time, this is Sinema77, horror and cult film lover. Hoping you enjoy the rest of the week on Body Bags. Take care and see you later. Bye-bye.